Hello there, welcome back to Business Studies at Grade 10. In this video, we want to look at a question paper from the province of Eastern Cape. This is our question paper of Grade 10, and we also take note that it's a question paper of November 2019. So if we go down, you'll see that also we are specifically going to look at Business Studies paper 2. So, this is what we have according to this question paper. So let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing the 10 business studies. More typical examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. So let's stay tuned and let's get notified. Let's turn on the notification button. So we go to our question. So we are going to start by going on the instruction part. Remember, we are given instructions in terms of how to answer our questions. Important points that we're just going to take note according to this video. We're going to take note of one, we say the question paper consists of 3 sections. We're going to give section A, B, and C, but also take note that section A is a compulsory. And also, I will take note on the part of section B where it's saying it consists of 3 questions. Very important for you also to take note. But according to this video, we are just going to answer all the questions. But when you are in the exam, you are supposed to answer 2 out of 3. Then section 3 consists of 2 questions. Answer any one of the questions in this section. So you are also supposed to answer 1 question. So very important point also. But according to this video, we are going to answer everything. We are going to cover the whole paper. So also, we can take note of this instruction, read the instructions for each question carefully and take note of what is required. Very important. So we go to our question part. We are going to start with a question 1, which is the comparison section. So very important also to take note that section A, there are no options. We have to answer for what we are given in section A, that is question 1. So question 1.1 reads various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answers and write only the letter A to D next to the question number. That is 1.1.1 up to 1.1.5 in the answer book. For example, you are given how to present it in the answer book. Then our first part is saying an example when entrepreneurial quality which requires an entrepreneur to take calculated risk is, but we know that entrepreneur is someone who is starting his or her own business from scratch. That is an entrepreneur. Well, we are saying it's being run by one person. So basically, that's what we have in terms of entrepreneur. And we know that this person takes risk, and the responses that we are being given there, we put A, perseverance, and B, risk taker, C, passion, and D, organizational skill. So according to our responses that we are given to them, the most appropriate that we have is B, which is saying a risk taker. So we know that a risk taker is someone who risk everything. So when you risk everything, we say you are a risk taker. Someone who risks everything in the hope of achievement will accepts greater potential for loss. So when you are a risk taker, you anticipate that you are going to be successful or you're going to suffer a loss. So that's risk taking. So very important. So you tolerate uncertainty in whatever decisions that you make in your life. So that's the risk taker. But go to 1.1.2, say customer base is an example of a business customer base. You've got strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. But I would say that this is a strength. If you have a customer base, it means you have got your customers that are buying into your business. So basically, that's the base. So it becomes a strength. So we have A being the correct answer. We go to 1.1.3, which reads, when Mr. Khan started a small business, he showed a strong belief in himself and his capabilities. So basically, we have the keyword that we have is that he showed a strong belief in himself. So his capabilities are the ones that we're supposed to describe according to response given with self-reflection, self-assessment, self-awareness, and self-confidence. So basically, according to the response given, I'll see that having a strong belief in yourself is self-confidence. So we have self-confidence that we have there in T. In 1.1.4, which one of the following is an element of the financial plan? But we know that the financial plan is something that we put down in relation to monetary issues that are pertaining the business in terms of movement of money in and out of the business. So At the end of the day, we'd see that according to responses given, you've got vision, mission, price, and then you've got also cash flow statement. So basically, the cash flow statement is the one that shows or summarizes monetary issues that we have at our business. So the definition of cash flow statement is that it summarizes the annual the amount of cash and cash equivalents entering and leaving a business. So remember, we say cash and cash equivalents just describe the issue of any cash movement and anything that is equivalent to cash that is moving in and out of business. So this is what we have in terms of explanation of cash flow statement. So a cash flow statement is the correct answer that we have that it's explaining in terms of element of a financial plan. Uh, we have a cash flow statement of D. Then 1.1.5 A or N this relationship is between employees on the same level. So we've got peer relationship, authority relationship, and group relationship, external relationship. So according to the response that we are given, the most appropriate one is a peer relationship. So this is what we have on the first part of the multiple choice section. So we go to the second section where now we are just trying to see what do we have. So on the second section now, we have 1.2. So we're going to go through 1.2. So on 1.2, it reads complete the following sentence by using the words provided in the list below, right? Only the word or words next to the question numbers, that is 1.2.1 up to 1.2.5 in the answer book. So you are given different words and terms that we have that we need to pick as your response. So going to the first one, which is 1.2.1, it reads A or N dash is the difference between the business income and expenditure. But basically, when we say income minus expenditure, it's either you're going to get a loss or a profit. When income is greater than expenditure, it's a profit. When income is less than expenditure, it becomes a loss. So basically, according to the responses that we're giving now, you would see that we do have the response of profit here. So basically, we have a profit here. So we are saying on 1.2.1, the correct answer that we have is profit. So on 1.2.1, we are saying the correct answer is that we're having is profit. So we can just represent it as your profit. So we'll go to the next question. It is saying Al Bashar uses dash to display sales figures in a series of tables. So when you display the figures in the form of series of rectangles, obviously this is a rectangle. This basically describes a rectangle whereby we are just having. So a series means we are just going to have a continuation of our rectangle. So basically, when we have such a scenario, obviously this is a bar graph. So we have a bar graph here. So 1.2.2, we are saying the answer is bar graph. So this is what we have on 1.2.2. We go to the next part of the question, 1.2.3. A dash or N dash is the invitation of a company to the public to buy shares. So obviously we know that this is the prospectus, and we put prospectus there. So obviously we are going to present this as prospectus. We go to 1.2.4. 1.2.4 says the team members who show dash participate in team tasks. So obviously, I want the response that we are given. We can just try to see the best fit that we have in the what team spirit here. You say team members who show team spirit participate in team tasks. So basically, that's the most appropriate response that we have. So we're saying here we have a team spirit. When we go to the last part of the question, I would say they specialize in particular fields. For example, we've got agriculture. So we try to see according to responses given again, which one to fit to this explanation. We've got a cooperative here. So we are saying cooperative is specialized in particular fields, e.g. agriculture, which is exactly what we are looking for. So we are saying cooperative. And then this is the it seems to be the last question on 1.2. Then we go to 1.3. We try to see in terms of 1.3. 1.3 now, we are given matching words. Choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A, right? Only the letter A to J next to the question numbers. That is 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in the answer. For example, we are given how to present it. So column A, the first term that we have is corporate social responsibility. corporate social responsibility, but we know that this is the involvement of the business in the affairs of the environment in which they are operating, or the society that they are operating in, the input that they give to that society. So we have responses that we have there that we just have also to pick which explanation to make is the term of corporate social responsibility. But if you go down, we can go to our D, which is saying a business takes responsibility for the impact of its activities on communities and environment. So basically, this becomes the appropriate explanation that we have. So for D, 1.3.1, 1.3.2, we have got creative thinking, creative thinking. So creative thinking is just, I think, it's just a process of whereby there is recognition in terms of meta recognition in terms of something that you have not been done before. So you're coming out with new ideas, that creative thinking. So we try to see in terms of column B, which one to make is creative thinking. And if you go to each thing involves generating new and useful ideas. So basically, we have E is the most appropriate correct response that we have. Then we've got stress. We've got stress there, and obviously, we also want to check which one do explains issue of stress. But we know that if we try to explain or define the term stress, it's a state of that becomes a state of one or a mental tension caused by a difficult situation. So anything that is a mental tension or a worry position that is caused by a difficult situation becomes stress. So according to the responses that we are given there, also we need to see which explanation to make stress. If we go to explanation, A, which is saying is the body reacting to situations that a person finds difficult to control. So basically, we have A is the correct response that we have. Then we got handouts. But handouts, we know that this is just a physical document that we have. And we try to see according to responses that we have on 1.3.4. So if you go to F, it's saying written or printed information handed out to the audience. So you put F there. F being your handout. Then you put 1.3.5 is business objectives. Business objectives. We also try to go down to see which one to make this a business objective. But if you go to I saying increasing sales by 20%. So this is basically a business objective. Remember, an objective is something that you want to achieve after a certain period. It becomes an objective. So we want to increase sales by 20%. So basically, that's that. So that becomes an objective. So we have I is the correct response that we have. Then this is what we have on this question. That is our question one, and obviously we want to move on to the next question that is going to be our. So our question two is on section B, which says answer any two questions in this section. So other any two questions are very important. I think we have highlighted that on our instruction part at the beginning of the video. But remember, we said according to this video, we are just going to go through all the questions, but so this is just for the vision in section B. So we go to question two, which is now on business ventures. And the first part is saying 2.1, list four factors impacting on a business location. So business location is where maybe if you want to build some buildings in terms of a business, that's where we want to build our business. So the place that we want to operate as a business becomes the location. So what are the factors that impact on that? So those are some of the factors that make us decide on where to operate is what we are looking for. So basically, we can just try to see according to the responses that we are given. That is according to this question. So we can just go to our other section and see that these are the factors that affect a business location. We've got business labor regulations. So remember, labor regulations can also try to can push us to change our minds in terms of where we want to operate. So that becomes a factor that's affecting the business location. So we might be restricted in operating in areas that we want to operate just because of labor regulation. So that becomes factor affecting location. So we've also transport. Is there transport where we want to operate or locate? We've got the infrastructure that is there. Is the infrastructure appropriate according to the nature of our business also? And then availability of cheaper electricity and water cheaper electricity and water supply also is very important as we choose where we want to operate. And then we have the potential of market. Is there a market to our products? So obviously you have to locate near the market of your products so that you can be able to earn some revenue. So but also raw materials. Do we have raw materials? If you are a manufacturing business where we want to locate, we will be able to get access to the raw materials so that you can use them to produce your goods and services. So basically, those are some of the features that we have. But if you go back to our question, you see that the question is only looking for four. But according to the response that we have there, we've got more than four. So we can just choose four that are appropriate. So we go to the next part of the question, which is saying explain the importance of a business of a business location. So what is the importance that we have of a business location? So where you're going to locate is going to decide the profit that you are going to make. So, for example, we're talking about locating near your customers, so near your market. So, if you're near your market, obviously, you also your sales revenues are going to be higher, and obviously your profit margins will be widened. So, basically, those are some of the reasons. So, sorry, those are some of the importances that we have of business location. So, you go to answer section again to say that the first one that we have is to have access to skilled and unskilled labor. So, the location also makes you it makes you have access to skilled and unskilled labor, which is also an important aspect that we have to take note. So the location also that you choose also can make you have access to both the consumers and suppliers. So it's also an importance of the location. So our business premises are often very costly to rent. So this also, we can also consider it as an appropriate response according to the question that we have. The other importance of our business location that we have, we've got business premises are often very costly to rent. That's the one that we're talking about. That we should have a location of our business where it is not very expensive for us to rent. Remember, rent is part of our costs that we are going to incur as a business. So we have to be sensitive about that. Then I will go to next one, saying not to harm the environment of the community. Also important. Then also you have to have access to the availability of transport in order to bring raw materials closer. And also that's the importance of location. But we can locate where we have access to the availability of transport or access to transport so that we can be able to maybe transport our raw materials. Then lastly, we're going to have sufficient availability of water, electricity, and communication networks. So that's the importance because as we try to locate where we can be able to have access to the availability of sufficient electricity, water, and also communication networks are very important. Then we go to the next question that we have, which is now saying 2.3.1, and please read the scenario below and answer the question that follow. So you are given an exercise that we are given there of Tando Zuko Hair Product Manufacturers Limited, which is THPM Limited. Then it reads Vuyo, the financial manager of Tando Zuko Hair Product Manufacturers, was invited by the shareholders to present the financial status of the business. When preparing, he considered the following factors: time frame, feedback session, and the objectives of the presentation. So this is what we have. So obviously now, on the first part, which is 2.3.1, it reads, what three factors from the scenario that we had to consider when preparing the presentation? So obviously the three factors are there. We have got time frame, feedback session, and also we've got the objectives of the presentation. So those are the factors that we have. So we can just go to other section and try to see what we have. We have when we consider the following factors: time frame, feedback session, and the objectives of presentation. Those are exactly the factors that we have. We have a time frame, feedback session, and also objectives of the presentation. So we go to the next part of the question, which is going to be our 2.3.2. So then try to see what do we have. Our 2.3.2 is our next question. It is discussed with other factors not quoted in question 2.3.1 that you have to consider when preparing a verbal presentation. So what are other factors that we have to take note of when you're preparing a verbal presentation. So we have a list of those factors that we can also take note of when we are preparing a verbal presentation. So the first one we have determine beforehand who the audience will be. Very important. Who are the people that we are going to interact with also can be very important. It can also make you prepare accordingly to the type of audience that you'll be talking to. So you've got to create visual aids to get the points across so that we just making sure that the combination of information that we are going to disseminate or give to the audience is going to be understood. So practice in front of someone who will give you an honest opinion of the presentation. Very important. Your presentation must have an introduction and body and conclusion. Also very important. Visit the venue, ensure visual aids are appropriate for the room, and also consider external factors. For example, you've got noisy surroundings which may influence the presentation. So make sure that when you make your presentation, you're doing it at a quiet place. So if you go back to our question, you see that the question is for 8 marks. So obviously it requires you to raise 4 points. So you can just choose 4 appropriate points according to the responses that we have just given. Then 2.3.3 advise our businesses on how to prepare support materials for presentation. So support materials, anything that is going to aid at your presentation, that is going to assist you be successful in your presentation. So those are some of the materials that we are just saying support materials. So we go to again to other section, try to see a list of those what should we have. We have the first one, which is saying use large clear lettering that is easy to read from an appropriate distance. So we are just this just makes you be able to transmit the information that you want to give to your audience so that they can understand. You should use large clear lettering that is easy to read from an appropriate distance. So very important. So this becomes our first point. Second point is saying provide visual presentations of statistics in the form of graphs or charts. So if it's possible, if the information is presentable in graphs or charts, so be able to present it in that form so that the audience can understand it better. So then contain the summaries of what you want to convey into not the whole text. So don't just put everything, put what is applicable. So we've got be colorful and grab attention, very important, and then be meaningful and appropriate. So those are some of the aids that we can also use so that we can make our presentation a success. So we go to the next part of the question, which is 2.4, name any 5 components of a business plan. Name any 5 components of, yeah, that's why it's important. And also components of a business plan. So a business plan basically is a document that details the company's goals and how to achieve them. So basically that's a business plan. So a business plan is that document can be constructed to an existing business, and also it can also apply to a new business that is starting to operate. And this one, when it's starting to operate, it's a business that is looking for financial assistance. And so maybe it want to apply for a certain loan or a line of credit so that it can start to operate. So this is what we have in terms of that. And then the components now that we have, we also have them listed here, whereby we are saying as a document, as we are saying that a business plan is a document, what do we have there in that document? So obviously the first part we have the cover page and index. That's one of them. Then we've got executive summary, a description of the business, and then the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So we are analyzing within that context. Then we've got the marketing plan. How are we going to make our products or services be known by our consumers, and so that the consumers can like also our products and services. So basically, that's what we have there on that part. Components of a business plan. And remember, it is 5 marks, and you can just choose 5 from what we have. So 2.5, discuss the elements of internal market research. Discuss the elements of internal market research. So internal market research is information maybe that is being attained by the workers in terms of our market. So this is basically what we have in the explanation of internal market research. So if you go there, I try to see the elements that we have just listed according to this video, which is our 2.5. These are the elements. Keep track of what goods of what goods get retained and watching for patterns. So basically, the information that is being collected is being collected internally by just looking at what goods have been retained, maybe by the customers, and try to see the patterns that on how they are being retained. So it becomes a research, but it's a research that has been done internal. So we go to the first one, say, next one is saying visit your competitors and comparing prices. And next one is saying watching customers and seeing how they shop and what they buy. Asking employees to keep track of items customers ask for and things they complain about. And the next one, talking to your customers. And then the next one, analyze application. Then we've got finding out where your customers live so as to understand their lifestyles. So basically, we see how we can obtain the internal information in terms of internal market research. So going back to our question, you see that our question is saying it's got formats and it's saying discuss the elements of market research. So basically, at least 2 points also can make you get your formats. Then we go to the next question. Remember, this was our question 2, so we're going to the next question. Is going to be our question 3, and it's on business roles. So business roles, on the first part, we put define the minimum of adaptability. Define the minimum of adaptability, but adaptability basically is an ability or willingness to change in order to suit different conditions. That's adaptability. So basically, we are saying this is the ability to adjust to different conditions or circumstances. So this explanation actually describe adaptability. So according to the response that we have now, that is according to this video, let's just try to see what do we have. Adaptability, 3.1 is saying the ability to react and manage different situations appropriately. So this is a brief description that we have in terms of adaptability. Then we go to the next part of the question. Obviously, this is going to be 3.2.1. It's saying identify the criteria for successful team performance from the scenarios are given below. So the sentence that we have raised, team members can perform only if they know exactly what is expected of them. So what is the criteria of successful performance? When we have a sentence which reads team members can perform only if they know exactly what is expected of them. So basically, the criteria is clear objectives and agreed goals. Clear objectives and agreed goals is the criteria. So we go to our answer section and see that our criteria is clear objectives and agreed goals. So we go to the next one, which is saying team members must have the confidence to air their opinion, and this becomes openness and expression. They must have the confidence to air their opinion. So there should be openness and expression. So that becomes in the criterion. So we are saying openness and expression. And we go to the next one. Teams will achieve if members are committed to the team's goals and the excellent performance. So this becomes a commitment to achieve. Commitment to achieve 3.2.3. We are saying commitment to achieve. So we have got commitment to achieve here. And then we go to the next one. Is saying teams should have good relations with other teams in an organization. And we are saying sound inter-team relationship. Teams should have good relations with other teams. So that's inter-team relations. So 3.2.4, we also have a sound inter-team relationships as our response. Then we go to the next question, which is saying 3.3, discuss the benefits or advantages of teamwork in the workplace. So teamwork, we know the importance of teamwork in our workplaces. Teamwork is working together. The coordination that exists between workers in the way that they do a sort of a one thing that they do. They have the same drive that they have is moving in the same direction. There's coordination in terms of their efforts that they put in the workplace. So basically, that's teamwork. So what are the advantages that we can deduce from that now? We can talk about a higher productivity. So when there's better coordination, obviously more products are going to be produced. If it's a manufacturing business, we are going to see more products are being produced. So that becomes an advantage or a benefit. So even the quality of those products is also going to be enhanced. Those some of the qualities that some of the advantages that we can deduce from teamwork. So we go to answer section, try to see the list that we have in terms of those advantages. The first one is synergy. That is the combined effort of team members is much more than the sum of each member's individual effort. So remember we're saying when you have teamwork, we put a combination of efforts that is being done with coordination. So basically, that becomes a synergy. So that's the first advantage. The second one is creativity. Team members are capable of generating more creative solutions. So when people work together, uh, the probability of us having new or creative solutions are coming up is very high. So it becomes a benefit. Then a better quality also, team members are committed to perform at their best when they are part of a team, and this impacts favorably on the quality of work are delivered. So obviously, when there is a teamwork, obviously there is coordination, there is motivation. Workers also work to their best, and then also efficiency is enhanced. And at the end of the day, the quality of the product or service that's going to be provided is also going to be enhanced. So basically, that's what we get better quality. Then we've got productivity. Teams that work together will be able to complete tasks in the shortest possible time. So productivity in a manufacturing business, we can say, on average, how many units are being produced by each individual worker describes productivity if it's a manufacturing business. So basically, when there's teamwork, we are going to have that average number that is being produced by each individual worker to increase because of coordination that will be existing between the workers. So basically, um, that was we have on productivity. Then we've got motivation. Team members help to keep each other motivated. Very correct. And then also we've got involvement. Teamwork increases in employees' involvement. So obviously there's no sabotaging along the production processes because of teamwork. And also the issue of bottlenecking is not experienced along the production processes. So basically that's what we have. But going back to our question, you see that our question is got 6 marks. So obviously at least 3 points are required there. Also, we've got various points that we have there. We can just pick the ones that you think are understandable to you. So when you go to 3.4, read the scenario below and answer the question that follow. The scenario reads, people need to work together well in order to accomplish business objectives. However, our values and beliefs impact on our working relationship. We therefore should accept our diversity and try not to discriminate against each other. Then 3.4.1, quote from the scenario above, 2 factors that can influence team relationship. So 2 factors that we can pick there. Let's just try to see according to what we are given. We have the issue of diversity and discrimination. Diversity, those are the 2 factors that we can just pick there, and discrimination. Discrimination, diversity, and discrimination. So this we therefore discriminate against each other. So basically, that's what we have on 3.4.1. So we can just try to check it in terms of our response. The second person, try not to discriminate each other. So this is exactly as we have on 3.4.1. We go to 3.4.2, discuss 2 factors spotted in question 3.4.1. So the 2 factors obviously is diversity and discrimination. Those are the factors that we want to look at. So let's just try to see our explanation that we have according to diversity and discrimination. So on diversity, we are saying workplace diversity refers to the variety of people in an organization. What are the variety of people that we have in the organization? So we are going to have different people with, for example, different qualifications, different capabilities, different skills. So basically, that's diversity that we are talking about. So we have this as our first point. Second point is saying any workforce includes people of different gender, ethnic groups, ages, religions, personalities, and level of education. So these are the basis of the level of diversity that we can have in terms of the people that we have or the workers that we have at the workplace. So it can be on the basis of the ethnic group or on the basis of age, we've got the old and the young, on the basis of the religion, we've got the Muslims, we've got Christians, we've got the Hindus. Basically, that's what we have, personalities and level of education. So basically, also that's how we can describe diversity. And sometimes these differences can create conflict in workplace. But you see that it's not. They do not. Diversity does not work in the positive direction. Only it can work in the negative. In the case of a creation of conflict, due to the basis that the people are of different religions, it can create friction because of people that you regard as good under Christianity cannot be the same thing that is regarded good under Islamic. So those are some of the bases of conflicts that we can have. Then sometimes these differences create conflict in workplace, and then employees must focus on respecting one another differences so that we can be able to deal with this. Then the best workforce can supply greater variety of solutions to challenges. So this becomes now a benefit that we can deduce from diversity, that greater variety of solutions from different people, different ideas can assist in the positive direction of the of the business. So this is what we have in terms of diversity. Then discrimination. To discriminate means to treat someone who is different from us in an unfair manner. That is discrimination. Then people can, for example, different types of values, attitude, beliefs, race, gender, religion, and many other grounds. Then we have unfair discrimination can lead to unfair labor exchange such as strikes. Now, which is correct. In business, anyone who is used and experience should be considered. So this is the response that we have in terms of discrimination. So we go to the next part of the question, which is saying recommend ways to manage stress. Remember, we've defined stress in this video. We've tried to define stress, and we said stress is a state of being worried or mental tension that is being caused by a difficult situation. So that's stress. So the question is saying, what are the ways that we should recommend to manage stress? 8 marks we have on this question, so obviously at least 4 points. So we go to 3.5 and see what we have. So we can just try to see what we have in terms of 3.5, and we are using 3.5 here. So these are some of the points that we have on managing stress. Be aware of your needs and wants. You should be conscious in terms of the needs of your needs and wants, so that you can be able to deal with your situation. But next one predict stressful situations and make changes where possible. So you should be able to anticipate that if you get into a certain situation, that's how you are going to get into a stress condition. So in that way, you can be able to manage it. Then manage your time. Manage your time. And then the next one, avoid conflict. Obviously, avoid conflict will lead to stress. Then we've got get enough sleep. Get enough sleep. So basically, this is just trying to say having not slept enough also can be an activator to stress. You can easily get bored when you don't have enough sleep. So this is exactly what we have in terms of 3.5. So these are the points that we have in terms of managing stress. So we go back to our question. We have the last part of saying outline 3 ways in which employees can project a professional image. But basically, the first step is for us to understand what is a professional image, so that we can be able to come up with the 3 ways in which employees can project a professional image. So basically, we are saying a professional image is the art of displaying yourself. So the art of displaying yourself describes a professional image. So the art will be in the form as displaying yourself as skilled and also competent in your chosen field. So the professional image is relative and depending on the job that you are doing. So what is regarded as a professional image in the field of maybe in the health sector cannot be the same as what is regarded as a professional image maybe in the army or under the police. So different situations brings different professional images. So different workplaces we brings also different professional images. So that's why we are saying in our definition of professional image is that the art of displaying yourself as skilled and competent worker in your chosen field. In your chosen field being a very key area that we have. So 3 ways in which employees can project a professional image now is what we want to look at. Let's just try to see. Be trustworthy and dependable. So for you to be a professional person, you should be trustworthy and dependable. Then be punctual. You should be punctual to your work when you are a professional person. Dress appropriately. So dressing, that's why it is also very important in terms of the dressing that you make. That's why I was saying it's relative depending on the profession that you are in. What is considered as an appropriate dress, maybe as a teacher, is different from a policeman. So basically, that's how we say it's according to the workplace that you are. Addressing very important, and then also speak politely. So when you don't speak politely, it means you can never be a professional person. That's basically what it means. So producing network and presentation. So you cannot be a professional person when you don't even know how to do your job. So basically that's what we have. Then asking the line manager for guidance when necessary. Very important. So those are the points that we have. So remember we're saying according to our person, and we say the person has got 6, seeing that it's got 6 marks, so at least 3 points. 3 points can make you get your 6 marks. So this is what we've seen, that we've got 40 marks on this question. We go to the next question now. Obviously, this is going to be our question 4. So we go to question four. Question four is on business ventures. And it is identify the form of ownership represented by each of the following statements. We are given different scenarios that we are given there, and we have to identify form of ownership. So basically, the first one, 4.1.1, is saying food delicacy store is owned by James and Sons, and they are liable for the debts of the business. So basically, uh, with being liable also can be a hint that we are giving being given there. Then now we have got the description that we have. The name also can tell us which form of ownership is that. Remember, we're given James and Sons, so there are two different parties that are being given there that are operating together. So that automatically becomes a partnership. So remember also the other forms of ownership that we have. We also have public company, we can have a private company. So the name of the business also can easily tell you. If it's a limited, we know that there is the issue of uh, the abbreviation of LTD that we should see in the name so that we can be able to say it's a limited company. So this one we're saying it's a partnership. It's a partnership. So then the second one is saying sharing leadership and coaching limited. You see now can trade the shares on Johannesburg Security Stock Exchange. So being able to trade the shares on the Johannesburg Security Stock Exchange, this becomes we can say these shares can be issued to the public. So basically, whenever such a scenario becomes a public company, this becomes a public company. So it means this one is a public company. Then 4.3, Zama Private, Pty means private limited, is a long-established business with a good reputation. And obviously, this becomes a private company. From this abbreviation that we have here, it becomes a private company. So this is exactly the description that we are having on our other section. We got the first part being partnership, we got public company, then we got private company. So we go to the next part of the question saying discuss the characteristics of a personal liability company. But basically also we would want to understand exactly what is a personal liability company. So this is a jointly on the jointly and several liable common. Basically, the description that we are putting down is just saying jointly and several liable together with the company for any debts and liabilities arising during the periods of office. So that's what we will personal liability company. So the characteristics that we can deduce now from a personal liability company, we can just try to see. These are the characteristics that we have. One or more persons, that is including juristic persons in brackets, may incorporate a personal liability company. One of the characteristics. Second one, saying the board of a personal liability company must comprise at least one director or more directors. This is another one. The personal liability companies are subject to fewer disclosure and transparency requirements. Right. These are not different from public companies. There is subject to fewer disclosure and transparency requirements. Then lastly, the directors are jointly at several level with the company for all company debts and liabilities incurred. So this is exactly what we have. We go back to our question, we see that our question is got 6 months. So those are 3 points can make you get a 6 months. The last part, explain the importance of a business plan. We have been defining what is a business plan. Now we want the importance of a business plan. Of course, a business plan gives you direction. It gives you direction in your operations. The basic importance that we can deduce from a business plan, because it gives you guidelines in terms of how you're going to operate and how you're going to reach your goals. So very important. It also gives you the budget in terms of where you are going to work within, in terms of the expenses that you are supposed to incur so that you can get an appropriate level of profit. So basically, that's what we have. So the importance is we also have them listed here. First one is saying it is a step guide that helps to convert a business idea into real business. The direction has been given by saying it is a step-by-step guide. It's giving you the guidelines in terms of how to operate. They say that the business plan will indicate whether your business is likely to be successful. Very important. Then it will help you to determine if there is a big enough market for the product service your intent as selling. So also it will determine if there's a big enough market for the product. So you can be able to see if it's a business that is starting to operate, you can be able to see before you start to operate if you've got enough market by the projections that you'll be making. So next one, it will help you to determine prices also. It will give you an indication of when your business will start showing a profit also. Those are some of the importances of the business plan. So that's what we have, and we see that our question has got 8 marks, so at least 4 points can make you get your 8 marks. 4 points or more can make you get in to 8 months. So we have now the part of question 4 on business roles. And on part of business roles, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Business enterprises are part of society. They therefore also have a social responsibility towards society and the environment, and their activities need to be sustainable. 4.4.1 reads define the term social responsibility. Uh, Define the term social responsibility are so very important. So you see that a social responsibility entails that businesses should operate in ways that benefits the society. So the way the business operates also should be a way that is going to benefit the society. Then we say the social responsibility. And also you can describe it from the dimension that is social responsibility entails also adopting policies that promote the well-being of society and environment, while lessening the negative impacts on them. So the emphasis on the social well-being of society, very important under social responsibility. So this is what we have. So bringing it down briefly, we can just describe social responsibility. That says it is the concept that individuals and organizations have an obligation to contribute to society. So this is exactly as we are just trying to put it down. So this is just a brief description of social responsibility that we have. Then on the next question, 4.4.2, recommend initiatives businesses can take to address social economic issues. So we have initiatives a business can take to address social economic issues. So basically, those are the issues that are pertaining to the environment of society that the business are operating in. In 4.4.2 now, we can try to see the responses that we are having. The first one is saying providing quality goods and services to people. That's the first that we have. Second one, ensuring that the production process has no negative impact on the environment. Sponsor equipment and products going to non-profit organizations and other needs groups. So basically, that's being also socially responsible. And we've got assist with the development of infrastructure, such as building health clinics and schools. And we've got last one is saying sponsor educational material, such as textbooks, computers, and other technological material. So this is what we have on 4.4.2, and we see that the question has got 8 marks. So at least 4 points also can lead us to get our 8 marks. So the next one is saying state 4 reasons why it is important to set goals, which is also our 4 marks. State 4 reasons why it is important to set goals. Obviously, setting goals gives you motivation because you want to achieve that goal. That's the basic reason for setting goals. So we can go to 4.5 and see what we have. 4.5 is saying the first reason is saying determine how many personal goals you would like to achieve. So by setting goals, you'll be able to see different aspects or aspects that you want to achieve. That's very important. The second one is groundwork for motivation. It actually motivates you because you want to achieve that goal. So groundwork for motivation, and then next one, enrich yourself and never stop learning. So by setting goals, obviously, there are new things that you are going to learn in the process. So this is the point that we have. Then next one provides direction, very important. It encourages planning, which makes you act within the parameters of what is expected. So you are supposed to plan. When you have a goal, it means the next step is to plan on how to achieve that goal. So it encourages planning, which makes you act within the parameters of what is expected. So this is what we have. Then 4.6 is saying outline the importance of recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses. What is the importance for you to know your strengths and weaknesses? What is the importance of you to know your strengths and weaknesses? So obviously, on the part of weaknesses, you can be able to address those weaknesses, and it becomes a positive. 4.6 these are the points that we have in terms of importances of recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. The first point is saying help you understand weaknesses in order to manage them properly. That's the first one. Second one, help you to explore your interests, which could open up new careers and opportunities. And the next one, help you uncover your hidden talents that you might otherwise not have discovered. Because by knowing your strength, also you can also be able to uncover your hidden talents. It will actually help you to use your strength to the best of your ability to advance your career. So those are some of the importances of knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And we see that this is the last question that we have on question 4. And obviously, we see again another take of 40 marks on that question. We go to the next part, which is now going to be our section C. This now is our section C. And it's saying answer any one question in this section, but we are going to answer all the questions for the sake of this video. So these are essay questions now that we have on section 5, and obviously on it's on business ventures, that is business opportunities and contracts. Then we are given Shane Dalton in brackets SD. Then I think after finishing matric, Shane Dalton did not have plans to further his studies. He then saw a business opportunity and started his own business called Wash Now. It is an innovative service that collects, washes, and delivers your laundry at your doorstep. Then keep the scenario above in mind and write detailed notes on the following aspects. We have got the first one is saying elaborate on the meaning of a business opportunity, and then describe protocol or procedure for conducting research. The next one, discuss any 3 types of contracts. Next one, advise businesses on the legal requirements of a contract. Or question is got 40 marks, but obviously on the structure of the essay, you're going to have an introduction, and also you're going to have your conclusion. But on the introduction and the conclusion, obviously, that's what you're supposed to go through. So in the introduction, we are saying you can just look for any terms that we have in the question that you can define. For example, you can try to in this question, for example, you can describe a business opportunity. Try to put the meaning in the introduction and try to see what to but business opportunity, we are saying that it's on the first point in the main board. So you cannot you can just leave a business opportunity and try to look for another term that you can describe there in the question that we have. Let's just try to see. You can just go to a contract and try to describe the contract, and then you can also describe anything in terms of the research, also important research that we have there. You can also try to describe it in the introduction. So remember in the introduction, you can come up with a description of any terms or words that you're having in the question. So for the sake of this video, we're only going to look in the main or look at the main body. So remember the main body has got the bulk of marks. So we are going to start by all the points that we are given in terms of elaborate on the meaning of business opportunity. Then we go to the next. So the business opportunity, obviously, we need a description of what we mean by business opportunity. But this is a situation where a business or a person can identify a need or be it a demand in the market and create a new business or expand on existing one to meet that need. So basically, that's the expansion of business opportunity. So I would see that it's a business. A business is a well-researched and a well-researched and viable prospect that can lead to sustained profitability and growth. So that's what we have. So a business opportunity, obviously, that's the one that we are saying is a well-researched and viable prospect that can lead to sustained profitability and growth. So that's what we have. So for example, a firm is making losses. So a business opportunity will come as an aspect that is going to resuscitate the business from its loss making, maybe to profit making. So basically, that's what we have in terms of business opportunity. But we have a description that we have according to this video that explains a business opportunity. So here, that's the description that we have. A business opportunity is an idea for a product or service that will meet needs or desires. That's the description that we have in terms of this video. Then the second point is identifying business opportunities is a continuous process because the needs and wants of people change. So basically, identifying business opportunity is a continuous process because we are saying the needs of the business will change from time to time. So that makes it possible for also to make it a continuous process. So on the second point that we have, it reads, describe protocol or procedure for conducting a research. So what is the procedure for conducting a research? So remember, a research on its own is a systematic investigation into into the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So that's the description of a research. So the second point is saying describe now the procedure of conducting a research. So those are the steps that we have, or the procedures that we have in terms of conducting a research. The first point is saying the research should be conducted with the willing of cooperation of participants. And the second one, if research is taking place within the organization, it must be approved first. Then we've got next one, a time and place must be agreed upon with the organization. Then the person conducting the research should not try to influence the opinions of the participants. The next one is saying participants should always be free to refuse to answer a particular question. Participants should always be free to refuse to answer a particular question. That is during the process of researching. The no information collected about the individual should be disclosed to anyone else without the participants' approval. And the reasons should not be used for the response should not be used for any purpose other than the market research being conducted. The next one, participants should be told the reason for the research and approximately how long it will take to complete the questions. Then the research findings must be reported accurately and not be used to mislead anyone. So those are some of the terms that we should undertake our research. So during the research process, these are the maybe we can say these are the terms within which we should operate in as we are conducting research. So basically, those are the procedures that we are given. What is expected of you when you are doing a research is what we have just listed there. So we go to the next point, which is saying discuss any three types of contracts. Types of contracts, remember, we can have an employment contract, we can have an insurance contract, we can have a lease agreement as a contract, and also hire purchase also when be regarded as a contract. So we want to discuss those. So the question is only three, so we can just pick any three that we can try to explain. So we are going to start with the employment contract. So employment contract, first statement, remember, employment contract is between the employer and the employee. Is the conditions of employment between the employer and the employee. First point saying regulates terms and conditions of employment are between the employer and employee. So this becomes the first point. And the second point saying sets out what the employer will provide according to labor law and in terms of company benefits. Also regulates the behavior of the employee in the workplace in accordance with the labor law and in terms of company policies. Then we've got insurance contract also, contract between the insurer and the insured. So anybody in which the insurer the undertakes to pay the insured for losses suffered. Then insured undertakes to pay a monthly premium to the insurer and then aims to cover the insured for losses that may be incurred as a result of unforeseen circumstances. So this is what we in terms of insurance contract. Then obviously we now have the next one, which is going to be the lease agreement. And over the lease agreement also is between the lessor and the lessee. Very important. These are the parties that we have in a lease agreement, the lessor and the lessee. So agreed between lessor and lessee. And then the lessor grants the lessee the right to let a property at a set price. And then the lessee does not acquire ownership of the property. Important to take note. The lessee acquires the right for the temporary use and enjoyment of the property for the period agreed. And the next one, businesses will enter into lease agreements if they are interested in leasing machinery or property. And it is the duty of the lessor to maintain the property. And then the lessee is obliged to pay the rent to the lessee. So basically, that's what so the person who's renting becomes the lessee, and the owner of the property becomes the lessor. Then the property must be retained in good condition. Very important. So before you leave, be it a building that you are occupying should be you should leave it in the condition that you arrived. So any department obviously is going to attract some cost for you. So this is exactly is what we have in the explanation that the property must be retained in good condition. That is what we have. Then lastly, we have the hire purchase, which is the credit agreement. It's also a contract. Credit agreements enable customers to purchase products without having to pay cash for these items. That's a hire purchase. Obviously, you are going to make some installments in terms of your payments. The National Credit Act requires consumers to pay a deposit when the credit purchases are made. And then the customer can take the products home and start paying monthly in installments over an agreed period of time. The business owner is entitled to charge interest not exceeding prescribed rates because he or she has to wait for payment. And then the customer becomes the owner of the products once the last payment has been made. Very important point on the last one, which is saying the customer becomes the owner of the products once the last payment has been met. So it means if you don't pay the full amount, you are paying 10,000 uh, as the whole amount over the period, but you are only left with 100 rands. It means you did not pay the full amount, so you cannot be the owner. So because the last statement is saying the customer becomes the owner of product once the last payment has been made. Very important to take note. So this is what we have on the last part. Obviously, we move on to see what we have. And there we saying the last part of the question, advise business on the legal requirements of a contract. What are the legal requirements? What does the law say about contracts? This is exactly what we have. So these are the legal requirements that we have. We've got various of them, many of them. But if you go to a person, you'd see that you're not given an allocation of marks there, but obviously at least 4 points can make you read there. So we are saying, first one is saying parties must be of legal age and of sound mind, have contractual capacity. Contractual capacity, we are saying the age should be at least maybe, it should be the age um, uh, within the age that is regarded to be appropriate for you to enter into a contract. If it's over 18, over 18, over 16, according to the legal requirements of that country. Then, so these are these are the first point that we have, and also you should have a sound mind. So it means we cannot get into a contract with a mad person. So that's exactly what it means. Someone who is not in the right state of mind. You cannot get into a contact with a drunkard person. That's not a sound mind. So basically, that's what we have on the first one. Second one, there must be an agreement between the parties. So you cannot get into a contract when you're not agreeing. In other words, you are forcing, one of the parties is being forced. So basically, that obviously will render the contract invalid. So basically, the next one, there must be an intention by both parties to enter into the contract. Yes. And then the terms of the contract must be clear. There should be the terms of the contract must be clear to everyone. Not in a situation that maybe after signing, you start to complain because some of the things are not clear. It obviously makes the contract invalid also. Then next one, conditions stated in the contract must be reasonable. Yes, parties must be able to comply with conditions, and then the agreement must be possible to perform. The meeting must be free and voluntary. The agreement must comply with the requirements and formalities. Yes, the agreement must comply with the required formalities. What is required uh, uh, for the agreement to take place? Those are the formalities that we are trying to put across. Then the agreement must be lawful also. It's not something that is to be not within the framework of the law of the country. Basically, that's what we have in terms of legal requirements of contract. This becomes the last part of our question 5. So obviously, we are left with the last question, which is the essay also, which was section C. And we see that our last question is here, which is on business roles. So we can just try to see in terms of our last question. So this is our question that we have used business roles in brackets, creative thinking and problem solving. So we are also given information that we are given before the components of the question. JJ textile industry is experiencing low productivity. In order to be competitive, they must address this problem proactively and creatively before it impacts negatively on their profitability. Write an essay on creative thinking in which you address the following aspects. Differentiate between problem solving and decision making. Explain the problem solving cycle. Discuss the following problem solving techniques, Delphi technique and nominal group technique, and suggest the benefits of creative thinking. That's what we have. So basically, as per the requirements of the structure of our essay, it should have an introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. So in terms of the introduction and the conclusion, we are not going to look at that according to this video. We are just going to look at the requirements on the main body. So for the sake of the video, so we have the main body starting from the points that we starting point that we have and the last point that we have. That's the area that we are just going to look at. So we are going to start by differentiating between problem solving and decision making. But obviously, we need to understand what exactly does problem solving mean and then decision making mean, and then we can be able to differentiate between the two. So problem solving, we are saying it is the process of achieving a goal by overcoming obstacles. So process of achieving a goal by overcoming obstacles, we say it's problem solving. Also, it includes defining the problem, identifying the existing problem, determining the root cause or causes of the problem. So basically, that's the description that we have in problem solving. Then decision making, we are saying it's a cognitive process resulting in the selection of a belief or a course of action among several possible alternatives. So selecting a course of action among several possible alternatives is decision making. So it means when you are making a decision, you have got alternatives. You have got alternatives. And then you can choose one. Then you've made a decision. That is done through a decision, through a process called decision making process. So we can now be able to differentiate between the two. So we have got differences that we have that we put down according to this video. That differences that exist between problem solving and decision making. So going to answer section, you see that these are the differences that we have in a table form. Decision making, and then we've got problem solving. This column is for decision making. Decision making is in this column, and then we've got problem solving in this column. That's what we have. So the first point is saying aimed at a choice between alternatives, that's decision making, as we have tried to explain it from the definition. And then problem solving is aimed at finding solutions to problems. So basically, this is the first difference. And the second difference, alternatives are obvious under decision making. We have got alternatives that we have on end, so they are obvious. But on problem solving now, possible solutions are not obvious. We have to come up with the solutions. So this is what we have. Then normally done by one person, that decision making, you can just make a decision on your own, but problem solving needs various people so that you can come up with a better solution, often done by a group of people. And then timeline with definite beginning and ending that is under decision making. Then problem solving is an ongoing process. It should be an ongoing process because problems are encountered from time to time. So it should come as an ongoing process. Then lastly, it involves strategic decision under decision making. And under problem solving, decision making is often part of the stages of problem solving. So decision making is part of problem solving. Very important to take notes. Decision making becomes an element of problem solving. So this is what we have. Then go to the next part of the question. Explain the problem solving cycle. Problem solving cycle. So what is the cycle that we should follow in the problem solving process? So basically, that's what we have. So firstly, you have to identify the problem. Understand what the problem is by collecting as much information as possible. That is the first one. Second one, identifying the problem. Once you have in-depth knowledge and understanding of the problem, you need to generate a definition that is concrete as possible. And then the next one, formulate a strategy. Think of various solutions to the problem, consider the limitations available to you. That's what we have in formulating a strategy. Then allocate resources now. You need to make sure that necessary equipment is available and is allocated to the right people. So that's what we have. Then monitor problem solving. Keep a careful watch on the implementation of the strategy. Then on the next one, evaluate problem solving. Work through the problem solving cycle until the desired outcome is reached. And that is first point. Second point, evaluate the entire process to see whether that you have done is right, to see whether what you've done is right and which step needs improvement. So also important. So these are the points that we have in terms of evaluating and problem solving. Then obviously we now go to the next part of the question, which is, remember, these are the that was the problem solving cycle that we are looking at. Now we are looking at discuss the following problem solving techniques. We've got the Delphi technique and then the nominal group technique. So these are problem solving techniques. We are going to start with the Delphi technique, which is explained by the first point as the Delphi techniques was originally conceived as a way to obtain the opinions of experts without necessarily bringing them together face to face. So obtaining the opinions of experts explains Delphi technique. Then it is a procedure that uses a series of questionnaires, and the purpose is to gain feedback from a variety of people, compare the feedback so that the joint effort can give direction where there is no correct answer. That's supporting information that we have in terms of Delphi technique. These opinions are then shared amongst a group of experts for a set number of rounds.
until the group reaches a consensus on the opinions expressed. That's what we have on Delphi technique. But remember, we've got the second part after Delphi technique, which is going to be our nominal group technique, which is here. So our nominal group technique, we are saying the techniques used in teams to generate ideas on a particular subject. That's the group technique where it's coming from. We have got teams that are involved. That is explaining the issue of groups. Then the second point saying team members are asked to silently come up with as many ideas as possible and to write these ideas down. Then each member is then asked to share one idea which is written down on a flip chart. Then no idea must be criticized during the stage. When all the ideas are written down, the group looks at each idea separately. Then each idea is then criticized independent, and then the group then prioritize the ideas in order from most important to least important. So very important in terms of nominal group technique. Then obviously that's what we have in terms of this part of the question, which is saying discuss the following problem solving techniques, wherever we've got the Delphi technique and the nominal group technique. And lastly, we've got suggest the benefits of creative thinking. Creative thinking is coming up with new ideas. That's creative thinking. You are not thinking, they are not bringing up ideas that have been there. There are new ideas that are coming up. So basically that's creating. So what are the benefits of that? That is what we want to look at. So benefits of creative thinking, we've got better, unique, better, obviously better solutions, better ideas, or unique ideas or unconventional ideas, or a solution is generated. Very important. Then I may give the business a competitive advantage. Obviously, new ideas uh, get you to a better position, and that is a competitive advantage. Complex business problems may be solved. Productivity may increase, leads to more positive attitudes. Staff morale may improve. So these are the benefits of creative thinking. Productivity may increase, obviously, because you are coming up with new ideas that are obviously going to work in the positive direction of the business. Obviously, this becomes the last part of our main body, but obviously, we also have the conclusion, whereby in the conclusion, we are just summarizing what we've discussed in the main body. We can come up with recommendations of how best can we solve if we're looking at a problem in the main body, how best can we solve that problem. You are giving a recommendation. So basically, typically, that's how we can conclude. But according to the conclusion of this essay, we are given a typical conclusion that we can include, that we've just came up with for the sake of this video. According to the discussion that we had in the main body, we can just conclude by saying constant changes in the market impact on business operations, and so they need to adapt to them quickly and make quick or creative decisions. Creative thinking can help to solve business problems successfully. Business must know how to deal with problems that arise. So we are seeing an appreciation of the concept of creative thinking uh, in the business that is coming up in the conclusion. So typically, that's how you can conclude your essay. So basically, that's what we have, guys, according to this video. Let's not forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing our grade 10 business studies. More typical examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. Wish you the best of luck in your exam to come. We'll meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.